Halito, Halito, Halito. Hey, beauties. Bonita, how are you, beloved one? How y'all beloveds doing? Can y'all drop a one so I can see that the sound is working again? How y'all beloveds doing? What's up, Eric, my triplet? What's happening, beloved? Platinum Love, Rodriguez. Hi, Lloyd. What's happening? What's happening, good brother? Hey, cousin. Cousin Liz, I'll make sure that I text you. I have another number where you can contact me. I forgot to make sure that you have it. I do apologize. Much love to y'all. Okay, good. So y'all can hear me. Davida, I love you. I love you so much, Empress. Peace and love. Peace and love. What's up, Lady Chata? Mama Darnella, I love you so much. You're so supportive. I appreciate you so much. Maichi Butterfly, how you doing, baby? What's up, Jomar? Mikhail? Vashalina? Jamil, what's up, good brother? My day's been very, very well, Rodriguez. Some days are better than others. You know, I'm gonna go lay my godmother, auntie to rest tomorrow and Saturday. So I'll be going to go travel. I just didn't want to kind of leave today. It's a lot of things to get to Manhattan. You know, I live really, really close to the Long Island border, so I didn't want to go all the way to Manhattan and then up to 87 and all of that. I just didn't feel like traveling. It just didn't feel like a good day to travel. Sometimes I just go with what the energy says to me, and it's been keeping me safe pretty much all my life. It's like when I go against my gut, something doesn't go the way that it should go or that it could go. So I know y'all see my too much candy for $1. It wasn't just some wonton rant or anything. These dudes always trying to jump me. He's dude from Facebook. Come to find out, he's a white boy troll. So you have like another situation, just like Garfield Weed from the Dagger Squad guy with the Christina Carter, just a fake profile, just fooling everybody in the Aboriginal community. And you got this pilgrim sitting here talking about Negro all day. So, he's been putting out a lot of pictures. I won't say a lot of information, but I think people were kind of fascinated, by all of the pictures and this particular profile. This guy, he's, been friends with a lot of people, and especially in the indigenous community, and a lot of people we kind of accepted him. He doesn't really have a lot to say because he goes, he puts a lot of pictures. He may have like a rant, but never really, too much pertinent information. He does have some stuff. I don't want to take away from what he's contributed, but he's not what he says he is. So for the last 5 years, some people have thought he was a female, and he has never corrected them. And some people thought that he was a copper-colored male, and he's never corrected them. As far as I'm concerned, he's a fraud too. So then you have the brother Micah Kingsman, and they are now have a whole big following of a bunch of people that follow conspiracy theories and all these little crazy things that ain't got shit to do with grandma, that is not going to stop the cops from busting you upside your head, nothing that's going to keep you from getting kicked out of your home, nothing that's going to stop CPS, from trying to infiltrate and steal your babies, just a bunch of stuff. I thought he was a nice brother. Come to find out, he's absolutely damaged. So now this is the thing. This is the thing that's going on. There are a lot of traumatized men. See, they've always magnified like the black girl lost. They've always magnified the female with the daddy issues, but they have never, and they have neglected to show us and teach us about the men that have mommy issues. This is a serious problem. These are your abusive men that want to date your daughters and whip your daughters' asses. These are the ones that want to fuck your mother up. Let's just keep it real. Let's just keep it all the way real. Now, some of them that address their trauma and, they do what it is that they're supposed to do as far as getting over their issues. But what about the men that hide these reservations of hatred for these women? Now, my father is very concerned that the bulk of hostility, I just post information. It's not like I go around insulting people and provoking, people to be like, hey, fuck you, bitch, or whatever. These niggas just hate me for being myself. I'm not no dummy. I never got washed up. But this is one thing I want to tell y'all about me. Never mind this social media experience. Never mind YouTube and Facebook or anything like that. I'm dope in real life, real time. I never burnt no bridges. I never played nobody. I never ratted, never snitched, never did a whole bunch of promiscuity. I never took none of these niggas' drugs. My jacket is clean. My children coming up, they're in their 20s right now. Okay? They're in their 20s. My brother's been a barber for 25, 30 years. He's never heard one thing about me. Sometimes people don't even know that Phoenix and his sister is the same person. They have no idea. Unless they kind of grew up with us. You know what I'm saying? But we have the same parents. Right? But my brothers have never been embarrassed by something that me or my sisters have done. This is how my uncles, my just like, you know, no male entity wants to see their daughter or their nieces, you know, just being trashy, promiscuous or whatever. And I don't even want to sex shame people, because people right now at this point, I'm going to tell y'all the truth. In order to not die early and die from stress, I'm understanding that people have to live in their truth, whatever their truth may be. So here it is that we present all of this information that is absolutely true and cannot be disputed, right? Especially in regards when it comes to heritage and some of these laws here, just primarily in the United States. So with this being said comes a certain responsibility and an obligation to also allow other people to have their truth. See, I never said that no Africans never came here. I never said that. For some people, that is their truth. It's just not mine. So just how it's not right for them to push their truth on me because it doesn't belong to me, it is unique to them. My truth is that I am an American Indian. That is my truth. It's unique to me. No one can interfere or take that, right? So the same way here it is, we're putting out this truthful information. If somebody tells you that they're transsexual or somebody tells you that they're gay, that is their truth too. And as far as the American Indian community is concerned, I don't care about none of that. I just want to know if you're Indian or not. That's the umbrella that I have chosen to primarily assist in any of these endeavors that we have going forward. It's not like, please don't get it twisted, like I'm not going to help a little old white lady across the street, because I will. I don't know if y'all know that about me. I know I come across hard, but I am pro-American Indian. It doesn't mean that I hate anybody else. And I hate the fact that because people disagree and do not allow me or will not try or don't accept my truth, that they will assume that I hate Africans, that I hate white people, that I hate this and I hate that. I don't hate people. I hate things. Right? I hate oppression. I hate poverty. I hate bullies. I hate things, not people. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because my oppressor so far, I have been oppressed by people that look like me than I have by pilgrims in life. I'm going to tell you the truth. That's my personal story. It may not be the same for everybody else, but that's my personal story. And that's the truth, whether people like it or not. You see what I'm saying? So when it comes down, so now, Brother Nipsey Hussle passes away. And you got all these people talking, all this celebrity, Nipsey, Illuminati this, Illuminati that. Ain't never met none of these celebrities. Now I could see, now this is my thing. I grew up, I've met Tupac, I've known that man. We like hanging out with my peoples, being around us in Queens, me having family in Cali, my cousin's name of Fanny, he's in pictures at my cousin's 5th birthday party. And this is the year before my sister and I were born. Smashing cake in the face, okay? In the 70s, right? So now here it is. I don't have to sit there and talk about that lifestyle. I've already lived it. So for me to just sit here and feel like I am going to be important by talking about what celebrities I grew up around and, oh, I know this one and, oh, I know that one. If people do their due diligence, you know, you live in New York City. Some of the things that I mentioned, you know, that would mean that I've been in spots where a lot of these things have occurred. So it's really not hard to find out that much about a person, right? None of that shit matters, but I don't have to sit here and feel like I got to defend somebody that I actually met. You can't sit there and, now these niggas, let me tell y'all, this shit is way out of control, because for the last 90 days, you have a group of men that have been showing these images of transsexuals. They have been identifying the average American Negro, American Indian, particularly all the copper-colored women, as transvestites. They've been identifying people in this capacity basically shitting on people for no reason at all. Maybe it's just a filler, a buffer, or something like that to have something to talk about on their channels or whatever. But after a while, it just became a walking billboard. It became a walking billboard. So now the things that they're saying that they're having a problem with, they're actually been promoting it. It's subliminal, but now they putting these images in your mind, and it's been 90 days and nobody said anything. And it took for Nipsey to die for people to be like, hey, what's going on? Why is it that they keep promoting this picture? Oh, well, we discovered it and you're just mad that we're telling the truth about trannies. You discovered trannies? Are you serious? You can't be telling the truth. It's been going on since the beginning of time. So now you got these conspiracy theorists that's saying that Nipsey used to be a woman that turned into a man, and Lauren London is really a man that turned into a woman. They did all that so they can be in a heterosexual relationship. I don't even really know how much sense that makes, but these are some of the things that they're saying. Of course, so now at the point where I'm like, yo, get off my page with that. I don't want to see that, Of course, what's the next thing they do? Oh, Phoenix they tried it. So when you want to know what I meant by too much candy for $1, it's these sweet niggas that want to abuse women and have these superficial issues that don't have anything to do with what it is that they're mad at. That's what too much candy for $1 is about. Because anybody that wants to truly sit there, and mind you, they have no experience in the medical field. They don't know anything about anatomy and physiology. They don't know anything about medical terminology. They can't tell you about the muscular system, the skeletal system. They can't tell you about the endocrine system. There's nothing that they can tell you about the body except that Nipsey Hussle used to be a female that turned into a male. That's it. That's it. The most ridiculous shit. He's got lots of views, so that goes to show you how weird these people are and the things that they're fascinated with. It goes to show you how weird these people are and the things that they're fascinated with. Am I saying that there's no such thing as these Hollywood follies where there's a lot of, this stuff going on? But what I am saying, not every celebrity or entertainer is a boule cocksucker. And if y'all say that around the wrong person, y'all might get punched in your face. People reach out and touch you. Just because they got a couple of M's in the bank and a few platinum records does not mean that they don't got arms long enough to make sure your mouth don't move. Real simple. Real simple. But it's about respect. You're not factoring their children. You just clout chasing and feel the need to sit there and have these discussions when none of this helps you. Don't really put no money in your pocket. But to the people that's lost and can't think for themselves, this is consuming them. They are just chasing conspiracy after conspiracy after conspiracy. When in all actuality, they can put that same energy into learning the law, how to protect themselves. They can put that same energy into figuring out how to be self-sustaining. I don't know, grow a vegetable, do something a little different, especially if they want to get out of the suppression box. So I'm really having a hard time with a lot of this shit. And I got a short fuse. And I call these niggas sweet. Whenever you think you need to intimidate me, right? Or you think you're going to bully me out of my opinion or insult me. And one thing, I'm going to tell you the truth. One thing that you want to see me go animal, if you say something to my sister, my children, my siblings, I'm going to lose it. My parents, we don't disrespect them. We don't raise our voices at each other. We don't yell at each other. We don't argue. We don't do any of that. So when I see other people, not being able to control themselves and they have these outbursts and stuff like that, fire in my brain, I can't even take it. I go from 0 to 1,000. I'm 5'2", but you say something disrespectful to my sweet loving sister, then I'll be 6'5", 320 pounds with big fists and big feet. That's how I turn into. I Hulk smash on them. I don't even care. The only thing that's going to happen, only two things going to happen. Either I'm going to fuck you up or you going to fuck me up. But what's going to happen for sure is you won't be fucking with my sister no more. Not a big thing. An ass whip is a small price to pay for respect. It's never been something that I was worried about getting. I could catch a fade and I could give one. Straight like that. That's it. So I definitely want to let y'all know that these people is crazy. So now he's got this diabolical plan to so-called prove that Phoenix Moon is a tranny. I got 3 kids, stretch marks, right? This is the type of stuff that we are resorting to. Come to find out, I had these pictures of this particular person. for a long time. I don't like just going in for the throat cut for the kill. I'd rather not. If I don't have to, I won't. I will. I can to argue means to make yourself clear, and I can do that at the same decibel. I can argue just like this, non-belligerent, non-combative, non-aggressive. I can argue just like this, or I could turn it up. I could put this, the net. I could do that too. So I wound up trying to have a different conversation with this particular person, and I'm asking little questions like, okay, so you're doing all of this. Where did you guys go to school at? Do you have any cadavers in your basement? Where have you learned anatomy and physiology? What gives you qualifications? They're taking pictures. He's trying to make me see a scar on Tyson Beckford's breast. This is your boy, Micah Kingsman. I forget whatever his channel is, but he's using Phoenix Moon name to get more likes, to get more subscribers. And some of the dumb motherfuckers out there in cyberspace really think that this shit is okay to do that. Nobody calls nobody out on it until Phoenix go crazy and make a video like too much candy for $1. Now everybody's curious as to who it is that I'm talking about. If you haven't already been in, the Facebook realm, now when people get to YouTube and they sitting there like, what's she talking about? I get like that. When you mess with my sister, I get animal foaming at the mouth like rabies. I go crazy. I'm supposed to. That's my blood. It's my blood. It'd be the same thing with any of my family members. We're wolves. We're wolves from the Wolf Clan. That's what happens. And I'm not wrong for that. I'm not wrong for that. Shout out to the brothers that was defending me, and shout out to the brothers that make sure these dudes don't try to walk all over us and be disrespectful and violent and stuff like that. I appreciate y'all. I mean, y'all don't know me, but y'all don't mind rolling up the sleeves and making sure these niggas know how to respect the lady. I definitely appreciate y'all. And shout out to you cornball niggas that sat there and laughed, because my subscribers, the ones that's loyal, got screenshots of y'all agreeing with this sucker shit, and then y'all be on my page riding. But now since I made that video, you abandoned a nigga that you thought was cute and thought was funny, and you think you're gonna jump your ass back on over here. I'm getting rid of your ass. I got blocked for 30 days on that channel in the middle of a live. And I gave dude a fair opportunity to come and join me to have a discussion and a dialogue, and he neglected to do that and opted out for calling my sister a man. So I went monkey ape shit bananas, and I don't feel no type of way. I did the right thing. I did the right thing. So definitely, shout out to my brother Lorenzo Duckworth, always official, always making sure that we good and stuff like that. I really do appreciate y'all. And then you got the boys threatening me, acting like, he's not coming to New York City talking that stuff. These people, but you know what? They're not right in their mind. They're not right in their mind. And they really have it out against women. And you got these dudes say out here fronting, and I really planned on airing it out. But then when I realized how right in their mind they not, I got something that could totally level the dude. I mean, landmine, blow off feet and legs and stuff. But you know what? When you got sick people in your mind like that, if I do that, he might take out all the ass whippings and the abuse that his mother gave him. He'd be gunning for me. Don't even know me, but he feel that strong because I have that strong personality. But this is the thing. I've never abused my son. My son knows how to treat people. He knows how to keep his hands to himself. He's not no woman beater. He's not disrespectful. He ain't one of them little niggas running around acting like he ain't got no home training. He ain't no loudmouth. He's not with 1,000 dudes. He ain't the pants sagging. He's not with none of that. I did my job. I got one son. I did my job with him. My daughters, they mannerable. You ain't gonna hear them all the time. You're not gonna hear them. My children are not gonna come in your house and don't speak to adults. It's certain things that you instill in them. I've raised mine right, but that's not the case for a lot of these other dudes. They got these mommy issues. Their mama done beat them, abused them. I've seen it, and I'm sorry, but I'm not your mama, nigga, and you're not gonna abuse me. Not every little girl or not every woman has daddy issues, and I think sometimes niggas be banking on that so they can come over here, especially in those dogmatic situations, like the Hebrew Israelites, like Islam, where the male just feels like they dominate the female. Nowhere in history did the women not have a say in what happens in the land. And at the point where the males became in control and patriarchy has made its place, particularly here in America, the black man ain't been nowhere but under the bottom of the motherfucking white man's boat. Let's just keep it real. Historically, I am totally accurate. I know it sounds harsh. I know you don't like it, but you cannot prove me wrong. You can't prove me wrong. The moment patriarchy has embedded itself in America, it's always been second class for the copper colored people. It's always been second class for the copper colored people. So if coming back into this truth and coming back into the understanding of our heritage and our ancestry and stuff like that, it's going to be through the mother. So is the mother, so is the child. You understand what I'm saying? The nationality is established through the mother. There's no way around it. I told y'all to look up Title V. I don't know if sometimes y'all here just to hear me talk or if y'all writing some of this shit down and you actually looking it up. Don't listen to what I say. Research what I say. I'm telling y'all where it's at, where to find it. Primary source. It don't get no realer. Go to the government print office, the congress.gov, and look this laws up for yourself. All right. Type U.S. Code Title V. It's somewhere in there. You can look up nationality, I believe it is, or it's probably under nationality. It'll be under there, and it'll tell you whatever the mother is whatever the child is. Period. Dot. Period. Dot. It's like that here. It's like that pretty much in so many other countries aside from like the Muslim countries and shit like that. So when I talk about too much candy for $1, and shout out to, that's my sister gave me that line. That's one of my sisters. She say that all the time. That's just a line that we say. We full of our minds. When I talk about too much candy for $1, I'm talking about these niggas that feel like they got the N1 and they just gonna dominate, and they really don't got nothing to dominate you with, right? Nothing wrong with being an alpha male, but you can't be a beta male and try and play an alpha role with an alpha female. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. And then when you're belligerent and willfully combative and stuff like that, and you come across an alpha female like me and my sister, definitely not used to getting deboed and bullied. We come from a family where the men let us know that our opinion matters, how we feel matters, and they have had no qualms catering to us, right? And it's always been mutual. You know what I'm saying? It's always been mutual. The way I see my aunts and uncles and interact and stuff as family, we never heard them fighting. We don't hear them arguing. We've never threatened each other. Me and my sisters, my siblings, we don't do that. I understand it does happen, but we don't have those type of disagreements where my mother's gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, is my kids gonna be all right?" We don't have those problems. We wouldn't even grieve ourselves with it, but we damn sure ain't gonna grieve our parents or the elders with it. We're just not gonna do it. Even if we are upset with each other, we talk it out, but our parents will never know that we're upset. It's never come to the point where it's like, you know, oh, I'm gonna do this to you. I'm gonna do it. We just don't do that. We just don't do that. We just don't do that. You know, I'm not saying it don't happen. I ain't saying it couldn't happen. It just not something that we do. Another thing I want to talk about. Yo, it's a lot of these fake Indians out here running around. And I'm going to tell y'all, before y'all start chasing them conspiracy theories, and before you start asking what the next step is, you better have your genealogy down pat. And the reason why I say that is because in order for you to get to that next level, you have to attach yourself to a specific people. So when you keep asking, what's next, what's next, what's next, what's next, I haven't found the tribe. If you haven't found the tribe, then you better find the treaty. The treaty might tell you who your tribe is, okay? So it's irresponsible of me to keep giving you, you know, to keep saying too much too soon. Sometimes it sounds like I may be repetitive, and I'm repetitive sometimes because I feel like I have to go backwards because of the things that I'll see in the interim, in between the time that I'm doing the show, you know, and I'll see people ask a specific amount of questions, pretty much repeating the same questions. Then it tells me generally what area that they are in their level of heritage and study. So with that being said, if I'm getting the same redundant genealogy questions over and over and over again, then I might just kind of stay on that. But if I tell you about the civil rights and you email me and you call me and you tell me that your children got arrested or this happened or that happened, in my mind, I know you didn't read the civil rights. You want me to do all the work. But the thing is this, you don't think that I'm valuable. My time is valuable. You don't think that it's important that you may want to offer me something so at least I can turn it down. But when you want to go higher than white people, you come with straight bank. This is the problem. You come with straight bank. You don't let them, you don't negotiate, you don't barter. That white man will tell you $5,000 for an initial fee. by hook or crook, you're going to make sure you have that for that man. But you don't value what it is that I give you because you have a problem with spending $1. People had a problem spending $1, didn't even realize PayPal takes 33 cents. So you was bitching over a genealogy guide that you motherfuckers got for 66 cents. You see how petty y'all niggas are? You can never make the Negro happy. The motherfuckers, oh, she built a 10-story building. Why she ain't make it 20 stories? How come they ain't build a building next door? Type of shit. You can stop me and tell me I'm lying, but I'm not. I'm not lying. I'm not even mad because I know our people are sick. But the thing is this. I don't hang out in areas of the sick people. I come to heal. And if you want to fight me when it comes to the healing, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to help somebody that can't even swing. And once they get healed, they'll be able to help other people heal, right? Because they didn't think nobody was coming for them anyway. You got all these motherfuckers that do all this, do all this. But as soon as them people come knocking on the door, you don't know what to do. Stop doing all this if you can't back it up. Don't let your mouth write no checks that your ass can't cash. And that's just period general in life. You see what I'm saying? So, like I said, you know, it's no big deal. I ain't mad at nobody, but I'm going to just tell you I keep it the way I keep it because anything else to me is just ridiculous. It's not even worth, you know what I'm saying? It's not even worth it. It's not even worth it. So I had to do a serious clapback. This dude is really mad. I'm pretty sure he stayed up the whole night with a giant Phoenix Moon poster throwing darts at my picture because I clapped at him. I invited him to sit down and talk. I asked him, this was a buildup. Understand, when I have that type of dialogue and you seeing me going off on people, it's not because I'm just trying to be so aggressive and, you know, wah. It's a buildup. Always get the backstory before you just assume Phoenix is just over the top and that's just how she wants to give it up or whatever. You know what I'm saying? There's always a backstory and it builds up. And then when it snowballs and then when the Phoenix comes out, I incinerate the place. I am learning. I drink a lot of water, but I'm a fire sign. I'm an Aries. I was born, I'm a fire sign. Leo, like my house, all my houses, everything is fire with us, right? So I have to learn how to sit in the water. I'm learning that. I'm learning how to try and channel that because it's always expected for me to just be rambunctious and da-da-da-da-da. And then people don't know how to take it when I'm calm, reserved, and I'm laid back, and I'm in the water. You see what I'm saying? You know what to expect when the fire comes up. I am going to incinerate the place. That is just a natural thing that I was given. That's just a natural thing. This is why they call me Phoenix. I get fired up. You either hate me or love me, but that's my truth. And that's what it is. You can't deny me of my truth because I'm giving it to you. I'm not in denial about it, right? I'm a fiery person. I'm highly energetic. I like to get up and move around, especially in the morning. I like to get up and move around. I'll go for a mile walk or a mile run or something like that. But I like to wind down at nighttime. That's my thing. Certain time, I like to shut down. I don't want to be ping, 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 ping all over the place. Some people are night owls. I'm the opposite. I like my shit to start early and I like it to end early. Right? So, also, I want to tell you, stop joining up tribes with these people. Deal with your family. Don't go joining up with no people. I don't care if you see them. They got 20,000 YouTube followers. They got a million Instagram people. I don't care what it is that they're telling you. If you have to give up your social security number, do not get rid of your last name. You can still use your tribal name that you were given in addition to. Do not give up your last name. It's a huge mistake when you change your name to something outside of what your family surname is. Don't go from Jamal Anderson to they, hey, they, and all. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's going to be a problem later on. It'll be a problem later on. You got to stick with what it is that you have. That is your identifier. Don't think that you are going to get rid of your social security number. Learn how to use it responsibly. Don't think that you are going to overthrow the government. You are going to get put on a list. You are not going to be able to live comfortably. Do not think that you got more guns than the government. The army belongs to the American Indian. Homeland Security belongs to the American Indian. These people work for you as per our ancestors in a contract that was made in 1776 when they helped them whip England's ass, the Declaration of Independence. We the people. Keep that in mind, who we the people is. Keep that in mind, we the people. So also, I want y'all to stop. If you throw that social security number away and you don't work 30, 40 years, 30 years of your life, what are you going to retire on? What are you going to do? We don't have wampum. We don't have wampum. We're not trading conch shells and beads and stuff like that. You got to be realistic. I know that a lot of people are angry, considering some of the things that have happened in their lifetime, the trauma and stuff like that. But you have to choose your battles carefully. And thinking that you can overthrow the government or you are going to outsmart a system that you were never smart enough to let work for you in the first place is kind of dumb. Not kind of dumb, it is dumb. And I don't want to see anything happen to you. Do not listen to these Moors. Do not listen to them. They have their own nationality, and they can't do that in their own country of Morocco. They can't do it in Algeria. They can't do it in Tunisia. That's not something that they're doing over there in their land. You always keep in mind that a Moor is foreign. That takes them off the land. Nothing wrong with that. They are a guest. They are a visitor. And yes, they can be indigenous, but they are not aboriginal to America. If you calling yourself a Hebrew Israelite, that's fine. And I'm gonna tell y'all, you are allowed. If you look at any constitution in the United States of America, everything says God. If you look in a legal dictionary at what the Almighty God says, you may have a better understanding. Matter of fact, the Almighty God found in the dictionary. Let me see. Do I have the legal definition? Every man is presumed to believe in God, and he who opposes a witness on the ground of his unbelief is bound to prove it. That's Bouvier Dictionary. That's from Bouvier Legal Dictionary. I'm not going to get into the dogma because that's not what I'm talking about. But you need to find out what it's hitting for, especially where the Bible is concerned and its usefulness and practicality of it. It has nothing to do with a sky daddy coming and being dogmatic. Take the Proverbs and the dogma, throw the dogma away. But as far as a legal standpoint and stuff, you can absolutely figure out how to navigate through this admirable maritime law that is presented to you. If you notice, doesn't matter if you like it or not, understand what I'm saying. Don't you motherfuckers start accusing me of being this and being that. Understand what the fuck I'm talking about. Every constitution tells you that you have a right to pray to whatever God it is. If your God happens to be your grandma, Irma Jenkins, you got a right to it, and ain't a motherfucker on the planet that can tell you no and tell you can't. And if so, you can sue them for infringing on their rights. Now, I could tell somebody, get the fuck out my face with all that Hebrew Israelite shit, because I'm not a Hebrew, and they don't have a right to infuse that shit on me, right? But I don't have a right to tell them not to be Hebrew. The same thing. So if you want your rights, you can't deny somebody else's theirs. You can't want the same truth that you're telling somebody else they can't have. You can, but is it righteous? Hypocrisy. It's hypocrisy. I had a wonderful talk with Chief Warhorse today. She's a very wonderful woman. I loved speaking to her. It was a very good conversation. There's a lot of things going on, and she's definitely a praying woman, and I appreciate that. And it was a good deal to talk to her and speak to her. I definitely would like to speak to other chiefs and see what it is that we can do so we can make sure that we have a uniform message, not a universal, but a uniform message for the American Indians. And I'm going to tell y'all, I'm going to just simply say this, and I'm going to say it again, and I'll probably say it again, but I want y'all to listen very carefully. Don't be looking at these tribal IDs and your eyes get all glittery and glimmery. Don't be listening to these people because you don't know who they are dealing with. Naheem Oxylip is still out here running around. And I don't know why people don't think that a lot of these things we are not going to find out. When you loopy and you don't burn any bridges, people tend to make sure that you are informed of everything that you need to be informed of, especially if it is going to bring you harm. And shout out to some of you who bring certain awareness to me. That means that it is a shield of protection around us, right? A couple of my subscribers happened to warn me about somebody that I thought was, pretty decent people. And particularly this one sister, I love her so much. And she said, I don't know. I don't want to get in the middle of nothing. I don't know if anything's going on, but this happened. This person did this, that, and the third. And maybe you should, I just get a bad vibe from her. Maybe you should fall back. And I'm, thinking that this person is they're all right. I don't really deal with them too much. It's not a lot of people that I actually deal with on a common core basis or that I surround myself with. I kind of keep my circle small for the most part. I'm just like surrounded by family quite often, more than like outside of that. So I didn't really think anything of it. But this sister, come to find out, was right. She was right. And I had to contact her back and I had to thank her. See, it just didn't manifest or present itself at the time, but she knew what she was talking about, even though she didn't really know the people too well. And something in her made her tell me, even though I could have looked at her like, I know she's not sitting there trying to tell me da 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 da. But I respect the fact that she didn't worry about that she felt compelled to be honest enough to tell me something that could have potentially made me block her or get from around. But in her spirit and her soul, it made her tell me something. And you want to know what? She told me some good shit because some people turned out to not be shit, right? Liz Robinson, Sister Liz has done that a couple of times to me too. Cousin's done that a couple of times. Oh, I don't got a good vibe about this. I don't got a good vibe about that. And sometimes I'll be like, oh, cousin, don't worry about it. But it's true. She's been right on several occasions. And I thank her and I appreciate those kinds of things. I appreciate that same bubble of protection and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm good with a lot of fights, but I don't have eyes everywhere. And it's nice to be able to exchange those particular gifts, right? Nice to be able to exchange those particular gifts and feel compelled to do the right thing and be able to protect somebody and you don't even realize how you're protecting them. I think that's dope and that's a really great quality for people to have, especially when they have foresight and they struggle and they sit there and struggle with themselves on, should I say something? Should I not say nothing? But I think if I don't say something, this can happen. And when they finally weigh it out, they tell you what's best, right? Whether or not they don't know if I'm going to get mad at them or say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, da 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 da. They take that chance and they put out something that is so valuable that you have to go back and be like, hey, let me tell you, you was right, girl. I'm so glad you said what you said. I'm glad you did what you did. So I definitely want to thank a lot of y'all for having my back. Hi, Marvis Duran. How are you? What's up, boss man? Peace and love. Peace and love. Chad Murdoch, what's up, baby? Wagwan Popcorn. So definitely, I just want to shout a few people out. And you got real people that have put out some information. And especially when I come out and came into this truth that I know you guys, they're not really that important to you, but they're really important to me, shout out to Tyrone Street, shout out to the Medicine Man. They put a lot of work in. They all have their own unique way of their contribution, and I think it's dope. Medicine Man ain't no joke. Ain't no joke. Very thorough. Again, I just want to tell y'all got to make sure y'all stop trying to join up with these people. Stop letting them recruit you, hissing in your ear, talking about tribal trust and talking about this and talking about that. You got to get with your family. And if they tell you to come and join them, that's a goddamn lie. If you have to provide your social security number, if you have to provide your ancestry, that's not your child. That's not your kin. Not your kin. You need to know that you can be an individual Indian. can be an individual Indian. I have a document. It's probably in my Google Drive. I have a document. I think it's from the 1950s, 1960s, or whatever. And it's a letter. And this is, you know what? It was 1950s because it was prior to the last Indian Removal or Relocation Act, which was in 1956. So this was the final send off or the final part of the Trail of Tears because they sent the people from their natural homelands to go move into these industrialized cities, New York, Chicago. You know, by that point, whoever didn't already migrate from Mississippi to Chicago, that would have been the point that they left. Whoever didn't migrate from Virginia to New York, that was like the pretty much kind of like the last wave of the Virginia Indians to go at that point. And those are the major places that they would go to. They would go to California, to Los Angeles, or you know those cities, St. Louis. Everybody, all of those major cities, Chicago, they would migrate. That was also a Trail of Tears. I don't know if people realize that that was also a Trail of Tears. Our people were going through economic struggles, and these are the places that they end up lured into these places with the promise of industrialism and jobs and a way to make a living and be able to have a retirement, you know. And a lot of these times, you know, our people entered into these cities and they forgot how to be Indians. They left all of that behind. You know what I'm saying? An easier life, so they thought. And it ended up that they ended up being really, really stressed out moving into these urban cities. And look at the things that we lost. Our ability to identify plants and bugs. And, you know, when we got all cityfied and stuff like that, and we go down and visit our cousins in the country, we would laugh, you know, but they were still closer to the natural state of an American Indian, Indian country. Our friends is country. So when we laugh and talking about, oh, our cousin country, our cousin Indian, it was an Indian country. You understand what I'm saying? They were still a lot closer to nature. They, you know, pitch horseshoes. They spend a lot more time outdoors. Us city folk, we scared of bugs. You know, we've become unable to identify a lot of things as a result of being spoiled. You know, so they think that we became uppity and stuff like that, and we thought that the cousins down south was too slow. So we all had a way that we're viewing each other when we still got the same damn grandma. Dumb shit. City girl versus country girl. They all Indians to me. You see what I'm saying? So it's a lot of things that we need to definitely get rid of. Yeah, Lorenzo, that is absolutely correct. So, you know, these guys, they talk a lot of junk, but they weren't even able to face me. You know, and I opened I opened it up for a healthy dialogue and stuff like that. But I asked, you know what sends these motherfuckers off in a tizzy? It's the questions that I ask. I ask questions from a standpoint that I don't know, it seems to piss a lot of these guys off. Not even sarcastically, you know, I asked them, you know, for instance, when they were talking about, you know, everybody's a transgender and this and that. And I'm just like, yo, y'all just turning everybody into antiquity, into a gender bender, like Pam Grier. Pam Grier is a woman. Aretha Franklin, they was talking about Aretha Franklin, you know, Pam Grier, and just all these people. I was just like, y'all niggas out your mind. This is way before they were born. These dudes, and in the interim, I'm trying to tell them to claim their truth, right? Because if you've been promoting trannies for 90 days, don't no straight males do that. Don't no males that got no tendencies or that have zero tendencies sit there and talk about trannies for 90 days when there's so much other stuff that you can talk about. So every piece of work that you contributed to allegedly to the American Indian community, all of the pictures in antiquity from the 1500s and 1600s have now been vandalized and turned into trannies. This one's a tranny, that one's a tranny, the emblem of America. They didn't do it to the emblem of Africa. They didn't do it to the emblem of Europe. They didn't do it to the emblem of Asia. So you see how the American Indian woman is still always going to be under attack, even by the so-called American Indian men. They still try to attack us any way you put it. Okay, so now they always say that the black woman's under attack. It might be so, unto the point where they make their due diligence and self-discovery or self-determination that they are American Indian. But what they really mean is the American Indian woman is under attack. Under attack. And it's gotten to a point where the women don't trust the men to protect them anymore. So when you think that you have these overzealous or aggressive women, it's just the fact that they are not willing to let people walk away with their stuff. A lot of men walked away with these women's stuff, and they're not having it anymore. And the thing is, it seems like they're raising their daughters now to be independent and to, be able to survive on their own and be strong and be tough, because we have to, because there is a partner or a person that we love that will try and break us down, right? Just the facts. Doesn't mean everybody. I don't know everybody, so I can't say that. But these are the things that I've seen. And interacting with, with our brothers and sisters and stuff like that, being able to have these conversations. We're having a lot of homeboys and having a lot of homegirls, and being able to, hear some of these issues and things that they're going through or whatever, and being able to give them a solid conversation. Sometimes you're just there to listen. You're not there to judge people or to shame people or to make them feel bad. Sometimes you just got to listen to people. And they tend to, when you do that without speaking, they tend to answer themselves. They come to you looking for answers. If you let them listen to them effectively, they may be able to answer themselves, their own question. They may be able to answer their own question. That's how they get clarity, and you can assist them with that. And they'll be like, oh, thank you, girl. You always listen. And I'll be like, I didn't have to say anything. You knew all the answers yourself. Sometimes you have to do that in order to help people regain their confidence and trust in their own judgment and trust in themselves and being comfortable with themselves making sound decisions, right? At this point, a lot of people should be interested in what makes them happy, not so much what makes them cry or what makes them miserable. So if you are in these situations that don't bring you joy on a consistent level, you don't really belong in them. And it's not so much, oh, I want to stick it out and let's see if this and that, all that shit causes health problems. It causes hair loss. It causes all sorts of issues. Being in situations where you're unhappy to live your truth, whatever the truth may be. You know what I'm saying? Maybe a motherfucker like picking up toe jams and shit out their feet or whatever. You ain't got to like it, but there's somebody that will. I was thinking one of my uncles used to say, hey, now there's an ass for every chair. It's the truth. Like they used to say, there's somebody for everybody. People have to be able to live in their truth, and you have to be able to allow them to live in their truth, whether you like it or not. But since we're doing so much of this truth, again, it'd be hypocrisy for you to dissuade someone from expressing theirs, right? A man tell you he don't want no kids, he told you the truth. So you can't call him a deadbeat daddy when the nigga don't want to do the right, you in your mind, he don't want to do the right thing. He already told you. He wasn't ready for whatever reasons, whether or not he disclosed his reasons or not, but he told you, he was honest with you. Am I saying this right? No, but I'm saying you wasn't lied to. What you mad for, a woman? Mama's baby, papa's maybe. What you mad for? Don't go kicking down the door of his job or running down upon a man that told you in the beginning his truth. And now you hate him for it now. You hate him for telling you the truth. But you love a nigga that'll lie to you. You can't have everything. You can't have everything. You can't have everything. Same thing. Women tell you when they don't want to do stuff, and it's up to you men to be able to respect that. Some of these niggas are so spoiled because they done got used to the women making their plates and serving them and doing all this other docile, homely shit like that, right? All the Susie homemaker stuff. And that's fine if that's what your unit is like, if that's what you have discussed in the beginning and stuff like that. Some people like that. Peace and love, rising sun. Some people like that. But for the woman that's on the go and she's the breadwinner and stuff like that, you can't make her learn how to cook at 35 years old. That woman been used to eating out. When she was single, she eats out. She treats herself to this tonight. Tomorrow she has Chinese. It's Italian this night, right? And then you can't sit there and try to make her cook. She never told you that she was no Betty Crocker. But then you find a reason to hate her for living in her truth. She's not domestic. Oh, what you gonna do? You gonna throw the whole bitch away now? Throw the whole woman away for something that she was truthful in telling you about, right? Times this by 3, 4, 5 times, and now you say there's no good women out there. Ain't no good men out there. Not true. There's truthful people out there, but motherfucker, you avoid them. You avoid the truthful people. They have turned us into suckers in every sense of the word. How we deal with each other, how we respect each other's limitations, their boundaries. We cross lines a lot and think that we can do that and expect some miraculous shit. But you really get what you give. So if you're putting in negative, you're probably gonna get it back. You're putting in positive, you're probably gonna get it back. But make sure it's somebody that is compatible with you to be able to let you live your truth. Is that something you can live with? Yes. Is it something you can live with? No. Real simple. Okay, well then you ain't the nigga for me. I like picking toe jams, right? Somebody tell you that. You don't agree with it? Move on in the beginning. Don't wait till 10 years and be crying like, oh, this motherfucker still picking his toes. He was doing that when he met you. What you mad? Who's the killer? Who's the killer? Who's the killer? So, but you know, I was really going to violate. So now this dude makes this public video using my name, talking shit about me, but then decides to make a private explanation. And this is the shit that I was asking them all along. Did something happen to y'all? Have y'all been traumatized by trainees? Because when I go jogging in the morning, I don't see a whole bunch of them out there trying to assault. Now, that means if there is an overwhelming amount of aggressive transsexuals, then that would mean that even as an American Indian woman, there would be a female to male transgender, because they have those too. There would be a female to male transgender that's out here trying to get at all the women and shit too. I don't see that happening. There ain't a whole bunch of chicks with sticks running around here trying to assault these men, right? Mr. C went out looking for trannies. So we're not gonna act like when he a masculine dude, hip hop, nobody thought he got caught not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 motherfucking times. You know what New York said? Come on back, Mr. C. We'd rather have your music than have you not living in your truth. Oh, okay. Oh, that's just disgusting. We don't like it. You don't gotta like it. It's his truth. Don't date the motherfucker. You ain't gotta date him. But now you know what he like. He living in his truth. Think about it if it was your brother or your sister, right? Some of y'all is so dogmatic with the religion and stuff that you even relating to it as your brother and sister, you'd be like, oh, stone them, kill them, fuck them, not no brother of mine, not no sister of mine, no, my sister this and that, and be so mad with your loved one that you wish that they would hang up or be so far away from you with the bullshit that you can't even love upon your brother or sister, the same person that could give you a kidney. You mad because of what they personal choices. That's too much power that people should think they have over motherfuckers. You don't got that kind of power. You got that kind of power. You may think you have it. You may think you are deserving of being able to control somebody's preference in that particular capacity, but you don't. And it's foolish to believe that you do. Or even harbor resentment against it. You ain't got to live like that. Whatever they do, ain't your business. But as far as community building, that person, you got the same parent, wouldn't that person still be an Indian? What is it that you really supporting? What is it that you really want out of this? Like, I don't know what a lot of people are looking for when it comes to this movement, this wave. I don't know what it is that people are expecting out of this. Then you ain't gonna get no whole big check. You gonna get no big old check. This ain't about, you ain't gonna get no whole bunch of niggas that's running around here talking about, I'm gonna get my land back. Well, where'd it go? What make you think you ain't got it already? How far did you get in your genealogy? Have you gotten back to, okay, well, I can't find the tribe. Find the damn treaty. Find the treaty. If you can't find Alice Davis in 1840, well, maybe you'll find her in 1838, sitting over here in this reservation. Maybe you find her husband that signed the treaty of 1835. You got to think outside the box. You might not just find that. And then they got over there and decided that wasn't for them. And then they took their ass on back to Tennessee, or they said, fuck this, I'm going back to Alabama, or whatever, what have you. All sorts of things. See, in your mind, you still think that everybody was a slave. You think they ain't move around and they ain't went on no vacations. The same thing that we do now, they was doing back then. Not everybody had it. Not everybody had it, but not everybody was broke, destitute, and poor either. It's not the case. Just how you know instinctively, going to go visit my sister in St. Louis, they was doing that back in 1710 too. Going from Florida, I'm gonna go visit it wasn't cold Mexico then. I'm going over to Mexico, go visit my sister Sheila. Get cold in the north, oh, I'm gonna go down south and go see grandma now. They moved around. The migratory patterns weren't just to avoid slavery and end up in a so-called free territory and stuff like that. It didn't matter. They still had kidnapping clubs that could take a free man, whip his fucking papers up, and you be 12 years a slave some damn where. Until some abolitionist pilgrim guy wants to help you out, right? It happens. It's happened plenty of times. Not just Solomon Northup. By the way, I found Solomon Northup's family on the Falls River Reservation in Providence, Rhode Island. Solomon Northup was not no African. It's a lot of stuff going on. I'll just tell you these little spicy meatballs and things like that or whatever, but a lot of responsibility with secured party creditor, Marvis. I agree. A lot of responsibility with that. And people have not even been able to find their grandmother. So thinking about being a secured party creditor is probably the last thing that last scope of study that people need to be submerging themselves in, because you can't even deal with your private. That's how you may be able to handle your public, but that doesn't answer what you do privately, right? Doesn't answer us all the time. So you have to be able to move back and forth, hopscotch, if you will, between public and private. I had a brother on one of my old videos telling me that does public law conflict with the Constitution? And I'm trying to explain to him that none of it can be repugnant to the Constitution at all. I use public law 90284 whenever I have to. I don't have a whole bunch of situations where, white people are trying to discriminate or take my cornbread no more. I don't have too many of those. Once you drag one or two of them, I don't care what nobody's saying. Your name kind of go on the list of leave that motherfucking lady alone. Because nobody wants it. I showed y'all what that Title 18 says when it comes down to that, right? Because you need these laws. You need them in place to make sure that they are governed, how far that they can go, what their limitations are, especially in terms of corruption and some of the things that we face. So for everything that these people are crying about, there is some sort of solution or remedy. And I know you haven't tried it because you wouldn't still be crying about these particular things that's happening. And sometimes you psych your mind up to already discourage yourself. I see people that repeatedly, I'm very leery of the people that repeatedly post articles of violent things happening to people of color. Oh, 10-year-old shot in the back by police. 15-year-old girl strangled by a policeman in Texas. Man gets out his car and guns down 4 boys in Florida for playing their music too loud. This woman calls this woman a nigger in Walmart. That shows where your mind is at. That shows that you are angry with white people and you can't resolve it. But at the same time, you be angry with white people, but you'll still fight the lady that lived next door to you over a fucking parking space. It shows that psychologically you kind of feel defenseless, kind of feel defeated. And now granted, some things are just so graphic. You like, yo, y'all gotta see this shit. I get that. But when that's what the bulk of what it is that you constantly are putting out there, people don't think that social media is reminiscent of people's actual personalities. Maybe that's not the word I want to use, but it's very it's like a mirror of people's personalities, right? Shows you where their minds are at. Particularly, look at these brothers, these too much candy for a dollar niggas. They've been posting about trannies for 90 days, like they discovered it. Nobody else knew it existed. And they are bringing this to light. And they are bringing this to light about tranny celebrities, niggas they ain't never got next to, won't never get next to. That is something, a theory. Conspiracy theory is something that isn't proven. But these niggas ain't even got no family tree to shake a stick at. But it's 1,001 so-called American Indians following these dumbass niggas, worrying about if Nipsey Hussle was a woman that changed into a man to get with Lauren London. Lauren London's head is too big to be a man. These niggas look at the shoulders, look at the collarbone. Oh, she got an Adam's apple. Look at, like, just dumb shit. Dumb shit. Dumb shit. None of that shit gonna stop a cop from putting a boot on your motherfucking neck. None of it is going to stop you from any of the things that you wish not happened to you or yours. But you can say you got conversation pieces and stuff like that amongst other people that are unable to elevate outside of this particular realm that they say they are uncomfortable in. What I say by that, you are not looking for the things to free yourself in order to help you elevate. How come you're not finding laws on that show that you are supposed to have grants? Now, look, you sit there and worry about Native Americans and all this other stuff, and this is what these pan fries don't get. The Civil Rights Act makes sure that you are not discriminated against, and they can't deny you any federal benefit. Any federal activities are good for the Indian too, because they gave them shits to everybody else. Everybody else has had the right to vote before the Indian. And what you're not realizing is the Africans that were here, they were naturalized after the Civil War. 1870 Naturalization Act. They were naturalized. So they re-entered as citizens. Now, depending on where they were, they tell you when they say Negro, especially in the Negro Act of South Carolina, that they're talking about the people that are now called what? North Africans, AKA white people. But in your mind, you think that this is what they mean when they say Negro. Those are your people from 1870 that are now naturalized foreigners. So they no longer have that African name no more, right? Y'all gotta be careful. There's so many different intricacies and levels to these rabbit holes. So many different levels to it. And it would be irresponsible of me to sit here and say so much. See, listen, this is one thing I learned about a good teacher can only teach you everything you know, not everything they know. You know these things already. They only help you learn about the things that you already know. You just haven't expounded on them, just haven't touched on them. But that is your own intelligence, unique and special to you. This ain't rocket science. I have a degree, but I don't got 1,000 degrees in philosophy and law and all this other stuff like that. Shit wasn't like that. And quite frankly, they don't give a fuck if you got a degree in basket weaving. They just want to know if your dumb ass can sit still after high school without being told what to do. That's all college is, really. Accumulate a couple of $1,000s in loans that, you know, compound and pack on interest and shit like that, give you something else to be stressed out about that they make you feel like your parents are no longer responsible for because you grown now. Welcome to the real world. So they say. So they say. But the end of the day, you know, gotta make sure that y'all doing your part. Y'all doing your part. I don't care if they flashing IDs. I don't care if they tell you, I don't care how many pictures you see them in Mardi Gras. I don't care how many powwows you see these motherfuckers in. If them ain't your family, if that ain't your motherfucking kinfolk, that ain't your fucking tribe. You get adopted every once in a while. That's literally, okay? It ain't gonna be no come on down here and we'll adopt you and all this other shit. You gotta go through the BIA for a lot of things. Individual Indians also have a capacity to act as themselves. I don't know why people are sitting there so stuck. Like it's so impossible to be an Indian without no motherfucking tribe. Your family is your tribe, first of all. But in the federal, in the legal sense now, a tribe is a federally recognized tribe, right? So when you are excluded and they're saying, well, I can't do this because you don't have a tribal ID, y'all niggas ain't using the Civil Rights Act because it tells you rights of Indians and they cannot exclude you from any federal activities or benefits. How you think these other motherfuckers could get something in your country that you can't? But you can't. What is it that you think you gotta prove to them? But the psychological thing is, you in your mind think you gotta show these people some Native American shit. You can't just be an Indian. What's the problem? You believe it one minute, then the next minute, oh, the white people said this. Of course they're gonna say that, fool, because they know you don't know. But the moment they know you know, there's a whole nother level of treatment that you get. And I'm talking about this gonna be the most respect you ever had. They respect your children. They respect your copper-colored son. They respect your copper-colored husband, your copper-colored wife, your copper-colored daughter. They respect you in a different way. And then after that, the only person you still got to worry about is your copper-colored people, right? It's a known fact. All you got to do is look at these stories. See, these motherfuckers want to hold on to these things, but don't really understand what it's like. They don't understand what it's like. When they talk about how these people killed Christ, they kill the people that helped them. It's an allegory. Doesn't mean that that's a real nigga. And if it is a real nigga, he came from the Middle East. And motherfucker, you can't even find your great grandmother in New Jersey back in 1950. How the fuck you trace your lineage back to some 10,000 BC or AD or whatever the fuck? Can't do it. Can't tie your ass to a hole in the foreign land. But the point of the matter is, they killed him. He was supposed to be such a great person that did all these miraculous things. That is the backdrop for the story of what so-called Black people, the so-called African American does to their own people. They kill the ones that want to help them. They fucking dog that person out. The one that shows them the love, that helps them, gives them, and finds the way. And then after that motherfucker dead, you want to talk about, oh, Jesus was such a great man. He was such a great man. He was such a great man. We loved it. We loved you. Motherfucker, you killed him. Nipsey. But did you love him when he was here? Never know. A motherfucker contribute to his death? You know, got to deal with them allegories. It's a backstory behind it. The scene, they place you in the scene, they place you with the people, but the story behind it may not necessarily have everything to do with the way they saying it. Means the same meaning, not necessarily. Instead of Bathsheba and Abednego, it's John and Linda that they talking about. John and Linda have this particular problem in America. But see, these niggas will take that allegory literally and they will be like, really, Israel. Israel wasn't created. And then, you know, you have these people in these factions that will tell you to research and read and all this other stuff. But there was no place called that until 1948. So you don't know exactly where it's at. You don't know exactly where it was. There's very truthful elements in that book, very truthful elements, but it ain't for everybody, and you can clearly tell. At the point where it consumes you prior to your nationality, you are a hypocrite to me, because everything in that book tells you about the people who forgot who the fuck they are. And every time they forgot who they are, they got their ass whipped, ended up in some dumbass type of situation, some fucked up slavery. The whole world looked at them crazy, even though the whole world was jealous of them. See, they'll just say the Israelites was black, they was black, but you're not going to take the whole struggle in a whole and look at it as to what people they talking to. And don't forget, these niggas don't like it or not, but King James was one of my 16 great grandfathers. And I'm inclined to believe that that motherfucker was copper colored too. See, these people don't tell you that the Jacobites, now this is a part where the tangible history can come, but they'll take this story and pretend backdated 10,000 years ago, but do you know the history of the 7 Years' War? This happened where all of these Europeans got kicked out and sent and transported to the Americas. But niggas will be like, oh, 1611, 1611. Motherfucker, they told you that. The Bible I got say it was published in 1975. Motherfucker, you don't know if it was from 1611. Ain't nobody got no book that old, no manuscript, no book that motherfucking old. That's what they say. That's what they say. That don't mean that's what it is. There's no other history of Jacobites except the actual history of the Jacobites. But these niggas be too dumb. They be so into the dogmatic shit, you won't even look them up. You find a picture of King James that looked like George Jefferson, and what does he have around his collar, and what does it say? It has a Latin saying, and it calls him what? Jacobite. You won't look up the Jacobite wars? And all of the Stuarts, King James, Stuart was the last name, right? Tudor, them motherfuckers got kicked out and sent over here to America. So when you're looking at, now when they say these 20 odd Negroes that came to America in 1619, you don't know if they came from Africa, they came from Europe. Came from Europe. Oh, Antonio Johnson was the first black slave owner. You don't know if that nigga was Puerto Rican or not. Still yet to be determined because they did the flip flop from the Caribbean and stuff like that. So they would get banished to these places. You know, they sent the Irish to Jamaica, they sent the Irish to Barbados, they sent the Irish to Bermuda, you know, and then they had the German Palatines also in Jamaica. They did the flip flop and everything. So now here it is, 1619, and niggas talk about 20 odd Negroes, and they just automatically assume these motherfuckers was African. But they got names like Antonio, Pedro. Never gave y'all no context clue. Them motherfuckers could have came from Dominican Republic. No, they could have came from fucking Florida. Florida was a Spanish colony. I have a mobile census with one of my grandfathers on it. Yeah, you may see a John Jones here or Tim Jenkins there, but you also see Pedro Wilson, Carlos Wilson, right? This is Mobile, Alabama, not no fucking Spain or no. I can always tell how people give it up with their genealogy. I'm sorry. I'm just always on American Indian go mode. I can't never go back. I know what it's like getting my head bust like a pinata and seeing them rip apart shit. And, you know, I was a good person. You know, I had the job. I did everything I was supposed to do, home with my children every night, consistent. We always had dinner, always sat at the table. I did all that shit. And they still came in and kidnapped my motherfucking kid. Meanwhile, the bitches that couldn't drag their asses out the bar always got a different nigga in their motherfucking house. Their kids waking up to a different nigga in their house. Just all disrespectful, searching for their own self that they forgot how to deal with their children. You know, letting these niggas play with their son PlayStation. Them bitches' sons ain't never went to jail, but mine did. Gotta understand, not only was I upset, you know, just pissed off. I mean, I was fucking angry. Like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Gotta be fucking kidding me. That was nothing that I ever anticipated happening because I knew what type of work I did. But let me tell you, when you have those fucking situations, how fucking humbling it is. Your fucking bank account stacked like this, but you gotta make a decision like, what the fuck I'm gonna do? These niggas came for my kid. Gotta let it go. Did all that work for nothing? You feeling angry? You feeling rejected? You feeling like, fuck this? I did all this shit that was right. When all these other motherfucking goofballs out here living in shit, they fucking chilling, they free, they ain't got no problem, they got no issue. And they ain't do nothing right. Sometimes it appears that way. But look at the gift that was given to me as a result. Oh, excuse me, my back. As a result of those things happening. Ended up being a gift. And now I'm here with y'all telling y'all how to make sure you keep your motherfucking cornbread. I can't put out no law book. I'm getting encouraged. Oh, you should put this out. You should put that out. I can't do it. Y'all motherfuckers will persecute me. Your dumb asses will miss one fucking step and be like, well, Phoenix said. I ain't got that kind of culpability in the matter. I'm not putting myself out there. I'd be a fucking fool. You know why? Because I read the Bible and they always kill the people that help them. Not a good track record for the people of color. Not a good track record. Not because I don't think people are competent, but I just don't trust the way that it's been. Sometimes you can just sometimes vicariously through other experiences you can know how to navigate. Maybe this one ain't got no felony. You done seen enough niggas get locked up to know how to not get a felony, right? Shit like that. Didn't take for you to get one. You just knew you seen these niggas fuck up and you not gonna do what that nigga did. Then seen 4 people walking down 5th Street and they fell in a fucking hole. Your ass is smart enough to go down 6th Street or 7th Street because there's a fucking hole on 5th Street that you're gonna fall into like every fucking body else that went down that block. You have learned vicariously through some other dumb motherfuckers that kept walking down 5th Street. You know? So make sure. What's up, Tomahawk? What's happening, beloved? I appreciate you all too, Nikki Candy. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You know, what's up, USC? I love you, sister. You know, but I just my father is very concerned. Like, there's a lot of men that threaten me, and they just I don't know what it is. It's not like I'm sitting here picking fights with men. Like, I can kick their ass. I just won't let you fucking bully me or manipulate me out off my point, especially if I'm providing this primary source. Nigga, the truth don't need no knees to crawl or no legs to walk. It fucking stands on its own. Stands on its own. And now it's been to a time that genetically, this is probably something that's coded within us where it seems like the woman is evolving into this, to a leader, right? Do you realize it's not the fact that they don't want a woman, and these how they trick our sisters into thinking they don't want a woman in there, and we should have voted for Hillary. We need a woman in there. You dumb bitch, you don't want no white women running the motherfucking country. She already run the country. Look at the fucking sons she raised. She raises sons to take over the fucking world, to take over our shit. And our bitches be sitting there cheering them bitches on some feminist motherfucker. You don't know what's good for you. Once they get a big sister in that motherfucker, get an American Indian woman in there. Because as far as I know, we the ones that's close to Jesus. We can take 2 pieces of fish and feed 10 motherfucking children. We the one that put the Band-Aid on things and get things running effectively and smoothly in an orderly fashion. And we ain't taking no lip from nobody else. That's what we do. So we don't even be proud of our own accomplishments in the way that we are able to run our own home, and they make us think that the shit that we do is strange when we the fucking civilized people and show these other motherfuckers how to live. But we always feel like other people are more qualified than we are, when everything that we do is imitated by all these fucking foreigners. These motherfuckers ain't swimming nowhere. They not getting on no rafts. Ain't none of these African American niggas talking about, yeah, I can't wait to get to Africa where they fucking, thank you so much, Rainstorm. Halito, beloved. They can't wait to get the fuck out of here where these niggas is begging and swimming past sharks and alligators to get over there to fucking Mozambique. You ain't find me one. Find one person. But you can see motherfuckers coming from every other country dying over here to be you. And sometimes the American Indian gets so complacent with the identity theft that they don't remember, hey, motherfucker, this your crown. Tell that bitch, take your fucking hat off. That's your crown. Tell her, give it back. Time to take it off. You done let them hold it. Time to take it off. You don't want to wear your motherfucking crown. These other foreigners will. Foreigners will. You don't want to wear your crown. Somebody else that does. Not only do they want to wear your crown, but they don't want you to have it. They don't want you to have it back. We going off into all these other places, and the only thing you got to do is stick to grandma. It'd be irresponsible of me to keep giving y'all all these different steps to get to these different levels and stuff like that if you don't have the basics covered. And the most consistent thing that I have ever said in my life is deal with grandma. Deal with that genealogy. You get frustrated, you get a roadblock. I don't give a fuck. Go back to it. Find another family member to deal. You've been 2 weeks stuck on this one grandmother, motherfucker. You got 31 other grandparents to go to. Go look at grandpa. Start using your noggin. Do this shit like the clock is running out. You ain't got a lot of time to do it. Do it like that. So this means you don't have no time for TV. You don't have a lot of time to do all of these other external things that's not going to yield you no food. So when it is go time and when they do come fucking with you, you know how to make sure you get them that kryptonite so they can back the fuck up off you. It ain't about getting over. See, a nigga think you gonna be claiming that you Indian just so you can fucking get over. No, you need to claim Indian first of all because your heritage is important to you. And if you don't want to shame your motherfucking ancestors, and this way your oppressor begins to respect you because they don't respect the motherfucker that don't practice racism. Everybody else in the world is doing it. Racism is not a matter of I don't like these people because they white. Racism is your family sticking together to be in a global competition with one another, with other families that are competing to get to the top. Wherever you think the top is, the top could just be maintaining y'all little corner of the world. That could be the top for some people. Some people, the top could be, you know, having hundreds of billions of dollars and opening up stores everywhere. Thank you so much, Shansoria. Thank you, sister. Right? The top, making it, being wealthy, being rich is not always going to be money. Maybe y'all got the most organic fucking fruits on the goddamn, in the goddamn country, right? Superfruit. Grandmother fucking 90 years old and look like she about 35, right? There's those things that could also be getting to the top. Getting back to some of our old ways. Why is everybody sitting there struggling? Motherfuckers, you don't get along with your sister, but you can't even pay your motherfucking rent. How about you and your sister move in together? How about you and your sister move in together? What are you sitting there stressing for? A motherfucker lonely over there in Chicago, can't make fucking ends meet. Got this motherfucker over here in New York, can't figure out what they gonna do next, and everybody's separate from each other. When you got your own tribe, you don't want to work with your tribe? Okay, your mother had some problems when you was younger. Maybe she's not the same woman before. Give her a chance to tell you her truth. Maybe she ain't got no fucking excuses for some of the shit that she did, but maybe, goddamn it, she do. You don't get to tell people, you know, how they get to grieve and how they get to feel. And sometimes children get the bulk of the residue from what's left over. So you grow up and now you're 50 years old and you still mad at your mother for some depression that she sent. And then you idolize your grandparents because your grandparents had to take over. But that was their second chance. You forgot your grandparents used to be your mother's parents, and maybe your mother didn't have the best childhood that you think you have because grandma and grandpa are saints now. Niggas don't think like that. They just want to play the blame game and have all these fucking dramas, and then nobody's fucking healing. Everybody's mad, hurt feelings and shit. Ain't no preparations. Thank you so much, Isha. There's no preparations being made. Everybody's pissed off and it's hurt feelings. You tell your kids grow up not fucking with that side of the family, and these cousins don't mess with these. Sometimes everybody's struggle is all their own fault. Sometimes everybody's struggle is all their own fault. Their ignorance, their ego, the approach to things, how they looking at things, how they dealing with things. Everybody off into their own little motherfucking world, but at the end of the day, it's strength in numbers. Niggas want to unify with the Moors. They want to, why we can't all just get along with the Moors, the Hebrews, the this, the that, the this, the that, the this, the that. Nigga, why you can't get along with the cousins, the mothers, the fathers, the brothers, the sisters, the aunts, the uncles? You can't even handle that. How the fuck you want to get over there and get along with strangers? You sound crazy to me. You can sit there and learn all these new motherfuckers when you should be able to know how to defeat the aunt that always attacks you when y'all at dinner. The aunt that always learn how to nitpick by now you should have some sort of way to figure out how to combat that without making it a situation where the whole family's uncomfortable and it turns into some other shit. Now it's whole family beef and war, beef and war. It's always war. We're so easy to war with each other, but we want to go run and embrace some strangers. That's a cop out. That's some bullshit. And we got to work on it. And granted, some people are just fucking impossible to deal with and they cause you stress and they cause you pain. Maybe you should just hope for the fact that they can heal themselves in order for them to be able to bring themselves joy. Because once they have some joy for themselves, it's not going to be hard for them to share it with other people. But sometimes it's about coming to a common ground, so everybody doesn't cancel each other out. We got to do things different. If we don't do things different, we're still going to be under the boot in our own fucking land. These niggas want to be shicey. It's a lot of shicey motherfuckers out here. A lot of shicey motherfuckers. And then you have the people that are absolutely kin, but they not family. They could be kin, don't mean they're family. I've seen it. I've seen it. It happens. Not like it's not normal. I'm not saying it ain't normal. I'm saying it ain't right. It ain't right. And we give all these pilgrims a pass. We give all these pilgrims a pass, but we can't never let each other slide with nothing. Nigga owe you $5, you ready to cut him too short, too shit, from his asshole to his appetite. These white motherfuckers tell you they docked your paycheck $25. You ain't doing all that beef. I'm gonna take it on the chin. And even if you do, look, see, this is dumb shit. Look at what they be calling me for. Slovenia. You see these niggas be trying to spam me? So they tried to hack my phone, hack my computer and stuff like that. That shit ain't working though. They go ahead with that shit now. I got my shit fixed. These niggas be trying it. They be trying it. Remember they was fucking with my volume and stuff like that? Not no more. Not no more. You know? So, same people. And you know what else I noticed that I love that just made me feel really good? When I hear stories from people that, you know, we've been walking these dogs for a long time and they don't have nobody in their family that's paying them no mind. And now this year, your brother that wouldn't listen to you or your sister that didn't talk to you because they didn't want to hear this we Indian shit. And now they like, yo, you see that picture of grandma? Yo, you know what? I remember da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Now you making the connections with the people that gave you the hardest time before, the hardest way to go. I think that's so dope. It's got to be a good feeling, and I hope that's something that makes you feel, you know, a lot more comfortable going forward. And it's because you always want to share this with somebody. Nobody wants to be in this shit by themselves or the only one in their family that understands. Nobody wants that. It just happened to be like that. But for the one that knows it's like that and still keep going anyway, trust me, they'll come back. They'll come. They'll come. Even if you only get one person. Another motherfucker will come. You got to lead by example sometimes. Sometimes you have to lead by example. And, you know, it's rough, but the reward is always going to be, it's just going to be so much better. So much better. You know, that person that didn't want to hear you, they used to run. Here come Phoenix. I don't want to hear this Indian shit. And they just keep moving. Now they like, yo, Phoenix, come here, come here, come here, come here. What up, cuz? What's happening? Now tell him I was just telling this person from my job that you found our records from 1880. Now that somebody else got a conversation for it, then they sitting there looking like, oh, this is the new thing? Oh shit, my cousin been trying to tell me all along. Right? Cousin been trying to tell me all along. And you know, they'll play it off and everything. And you allow them to play it off like it's some shit they already know. Don't even bust their bubble like it's the shit that they didn't want to hear 2 years ago. Let them rock out. Let them rock out. They'll show you favor. Sometimes you gotta deal with this. Can't always deal with how you feel. Feelings are very temporary. They don't always last. They don't always stay the same. Right? They don't always stay the same. So it's important to try and not, act off emotion all the time. I know sometimes that's hard. I tell y'all sometimes, like I just said, nigga, I gotta sit in the water because I'm flame, 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 fire, fire. I like it. I'm hot. I like it. You know what I'm saying? That's just my nature. But I'm learning how to calm down. They already know to expect the fire from the twins. What they don't know is how to expect the water. And a good sister told me, she said, water gets into every crevice. You right. You got to find your water. If there's an opening, water covers every crevice. Just as powerful as fire, if not more. If not more. Everybody just used to fire tearing some shit up. But the water can fuck some shit up too. Right? Fucking water fuck some shit up too. So definitely though, stop messing with these bozos. You gotta start vetting them out. I don't care how many likes they get, how many, if they can't sit there when y'all meet face to face, or if they ever willing to meet face to face, or if these motherfuckers don't show their face, they want to know all your information, where you live, who you kin to, and all this other shit, but they got 1,001 secrets. You better find that shit strange. Find it strange. And do your due diligence. Shouldn't nobody that you're doing business with on a serious level be afraid to disclose some things? Maybe they ain't gonna tell you every single thing, but the basic shit they shouldn't be able to have a problem disclosing, especially if y'all are signing contracts and shit like that. It's got to go down that way, right? Don't make it to be such a big issue. Got to give you some sort of level of disclosure, even if they don't tell you everything. It's got to be enough that at least if you have a problem, you can complain to the right person. You won't be doing no business with John Doe, and then something happened, they run off with your $100,000. You're like, what's his name? John what? John Doe? That ain't enough information. That ain't enough. But you have to build that level of rapport and trust with people too. And I'm gonna tell you, the primary people to be able to do that with is the motherfuckers that you don't get along with so much. I know y'all don't want to hear that, but that's going to be where you have to take it, because this way you stop running into people with these fake ass tribes. You look at these motherfuckers and they making up these goddamn tribal names. Those motherfuckers ain't exist 100 years ago. They ain't exist 50 years ago. You can't make one up out the sky right now. You got to have one that's based on the treaty. Can't just make up no new motherfucking, I'm from the Cutter nigga tribe. That's a lie. I don't give a fuck if they making charters and whatever else and all this other shit. You can't just do that. You still got to find your attachment to the original people of this land. Still got to find your attachment. Still got to find your attachment. Whatever it is, that's your truth. Just fucking own it and be okay with that shit. Can't nobody really tell you nothing. Fuck them and feed them Franks if they do. Said Franks a lot. I've been using that meme with them sausage party boys. Oh my gosh, I've been using that meme to death with them niggas, them sausage party tranny talking niggas. Franks a lot. It was so funny. It was just a bunch of fucking hot dogs piled up. But I'm crazy, crazy like that. But they got all this land. Niggas talking about, I want my land back. Motherfucker, where you buying it from? You better go get you some. Because even if you do have family members on there, this is the thing, especially if they're the older ones, they are the next of kin of your grandmother's children. Sometimes you got to wait till all those fucking descendants die out, and then it goes to whoever the oldest cousin is. Like, there's a lot of people you might have to cancel out. Like, you got to wait to cancel out to check out. So that could be a family. The family that, that could be a problem. The family that split up, that stayed down south, y'all done left and went over here, went over there. They are the next people in line. There's always going to be a descendancy hierarchy, right? You're going to have to follow that. So you can't just come over here talking about, oh, I'm Indian, this is my grandmother's shit, and okay, well, your grandmother still got 4 living kids, even though they didn't speak to your mommy or nothing. They ain't never left. They right here. Take a lot. Take a lot. And take a lot. So with that being said, go on and get you a little piece of something. Why you can't make an investment, get you 1-2 acres or something like that? Don't cost a lot of money somewhere, but I'm gonna tell y'all, when y'all looking to move out of town and move out of state into these different places, or even going back into your own original country. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kurt. Even when you're going into your own place and stuff like that, your own hometown, your grandparents or your ancestral lands and stuff like that, make sure you pay attention to what the Constitution say. See, places like Georgia, the Georgia Constitution gives the alien the same right as the Indian. But in New York, the Constitution says there's only two types of people, and the inhabitant excludes aliens. Who else could that be? The motherfucking Indian. Right? So who is making all of these decisions? It's not the Indian that's making these decisions. We have not been lobbying. We don't have a political party. So stop listening to people telling you, oh, they ain't never gonna let us do this. They ain't never gonna let us do that. We can't do this, but this happened, but that happened. Motherfucker, work your steps. Nobody been sitting here breaking down these steps. You ain't heard nobody talking about the fucking Civil Rights Act till me and Bernie started talking about the fucking Civil Rights Act. But you can't knock the Civil Rights Act if your ass ain't never used it in a situation where they are trying to oppress you or violate your rights. Let that be the standard. Let that be the model. Rights of Indians. It don't say rights of black people. It don't say rights of these motherfuckers. It say rights of Indians. It don't say rights of Native Americans. Them motherfuckers can't do it. They already signed their shit over into a different trust. The BIA, they are federally fucking regulated. The American Indian is federally protected. The big difference. Federally protected activities. Civil Rights Act, Public Law 90684 versus federally regulated. Native Americans, not the same thing. Native American, rights of Indians. Native American, rights of Indians. Native American, rights of Indians. Not the same thing. Don't let them motherfuckers tell you nothing, and don't let none of these motherfuckers ask you no stupid ass questions. Where your land at? Where your reservation? How come you ain't on a reservation? Not everybody does that, and it is a thing, again, as such as individual Indians. And I'm going to encourage you to check the Department of Interior for some of these records that indicate that your folks were an individual Indian. Because what happens was the land would have ended up being abandoned property if their folks had left. Going back to what I was saying with the Indian Removal Act of 1956, or the Indian Relocation Act, they call it that, but it's still goddamn Removal Act, Trail of Tears to me. Thank you so much, Malcolm. And you know, they have they moved from these places. They came to the big cities. What did they do? They left the land down there. It goes into abandoned property, right? That don't mean that they can take it. So now those same states, especially the Confederate states where they lived, they have clauses in there regarding your property, your homestead. Look up the homestead clauses and see what it's about, because those houses may have been held in a trust or regarding a homestead. So that means it doesn't matter if your family left and went to, they left from Georgia and they wound up moving to California and they left this shit on over here. There are clauses that say it don't matter how long you've been gone in your absence. This is still here. And if it's not here when your ass get back, then guess what you get? Just compensation. So if you've been gone for 2-3 decades, thank you so much, beloved. You've been gone 2-3 decades from your homeland, or even 6-7 decades, you know, when your great-grandparents left or whatever, and they come back and you fuck around and there's a Walmart on your shit, guess what they gotta do? They gotta pay. Now, eminent domain, they probably not going to give up the land where that Walmart was, but you going to cash the fuck out. Did it ever dawn on anybody? I can't find no records on my grant. Go look into the Department of the Interior. They have records too. They have an archive too. Worry about the BIA and all that. They're with the Department of Interior. They have tons of records. And you may not recognize some names because you're looking for John Davis. And at the time when your grandparents were signing this, he was, you know, she was Matawaka. maybe a little confusing. Gotta look at the pattern. Sometimes the name will be staring you right in the motherfucking face and you don't even realize that that's a Indian name. Might be spelled a little different. Because these people had a fight, you know, like out there you got cousins and you got cousin. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, you know, don't complicate things. Our folks were very simplistic. They didn't have a whole bunch of reasons to argue or be stressed out and stuff like that. You have to kind of think things through. And they, you know, when it was time to relax, they actually did relax. They actually did relax. You know. So, hi Cherokee Tolu, what's up, good brother? What if you live in a state that is not the state you were born in? Well, there's this thing called full faith and credit, and I'm going to suggest that you look that up. Full faith and credit. Full faith and credit, you are able to, the states in the United States in severalty, you can use certain elements and excerpts from different laws to apply to you wherever you are. So if you are from Pennsylvania and you have full faith and credit and you are now living in, let's say, Texas, whatever it is that would be beneficial in law to you in Pennsylvania, you can now enjoy those same rights and privileges in Texas. That also means that they can extradite your ass from Texas back to Pennsylvania. However, it does give you some flexibility. And I think that goes by the 1789 Constitution. You might want to look at it. I don't actually have me and my children's birth certificates. Hold on. So I could show y'all. What they look like. I have a picture of ours. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second, y'all. I'm going to show y'all what the full faith and credit birth certificate looks like. Hold on 1 second. And it's really not that complicated. So for me, my 3 children, it was still like under $200 for all of us. And I actually drove to Washington, D.C. To do the last step. But once you go to Washington, D.C. to even drop it off, after, you know, you go through the other authentication processes, you can't pick it up that day. So even if you live in Washington, D.C. and you have it authenticated by the city or the county, then the state, and then of course the Secretary of State of the United States is who ultimately signs it. You get, once you drop it off, they tell you to wait for like 2-3 days before you can go and pick it up. Let me see if I have a copy of it like in my G Drive or something like that, so I could show y'all what it looks like. Mine was done by John Kerry. Let me see if I can show y'all. 1 second. Let me see. Just so y'all can have an idea what it looked like. It's not. Now, I don't know how I could get to the G Drive from my computer. I don't think I've ever done it that way. I've always done it from my phone. Let's see. Oh, here it is. Cool. Okay, wait. A little dotty box at the top. Okay, so let's see if it's in here. Just so y'all can get a brief what it says and what the caption says, because the caption is quite important. And then at the bottom of it, the bottom left-hand corner, there are some laws. I can't remember them, but they show y'all. laws. I also have, I want to find, let me see. So I can find this and show this to y'all. And you know, like I said, there's going to be the laws that are in the lower left-hand corner that are applicable. You can look up full faith and credit. When I find it, I'm going to, of course, block out the very important numbers at the top, because that ain't nothing that you want to play with. That's for them to know, you to know, not really nobody else. But what I'm going to do is make sure I upload it to, so you guys can see what it is. But, you know, you can find out through your New York State Department, your State Department of Vital Statistics. You'll be able to find out the process to do it, okay? Doing that, you go, it's going to be a city thing, then you go to county, and then you go to, it's going to be city, county, then state. Let me see. Hold on one second, y'all. It's going to be city, town, well, city, then state, and then from the state, you're going to go to the United States. It's going to cost you for 3 children. It was less than $200. Less than $200. I don't even think it was $150. I mean, like, especially the process phone at the actual Office of Authentications. The Office of Authentications was probably $8 per copy. So maybe, I don't know if you're careless or not. If you lose one, you definitely want to have a backup. That's not something that you want to lose. It's not something that you walk around carrying around or anything like that. They know you have it when you have it. I don't care what nobody say. So you want to make sure that you have it for yourself and for all your children, your spouse, your parents. Definitely want to do that. You can authenticate death certificates. You can authenticate a lot of things. Just keep that in mind. It's also called apostille. To have those documents apostilled, you can definitely do that. Don't let nobody tell you no. They may not be familiar with the process, but it absolutely happens. The pilgrims do it all the time. They just not really used to, you know, seeing people of color do it. You see? So I wish that I could find it. But I will get a copy of it, and I will definitely make sure that I show y'all exactly what it is that it looks like. And then I want to take a caption of that part at the bottom, because it does have some, like, a bunch of Roman numerals and all this other stuff or whatever that you don't really see all the time. But it also leads you to a specific clause for full faith and credit inside of the 1789 Constitution. I think it's September 15th. September 15th is definitely September of like 1789 or something like that. Thank you so much, Rainstorm. So I definitely want to make sure that y'all are aware. So do your research on that. It's called Full Faith and Credit. Apostille or authentication. That's going to be either or. They're only going to give you 2 choices, and those are the ones. So from the drop down menu, when they ask you what's the reason for your birth certificate, see, if you live in New York City is its own jurisdiction. New York City has a charter. There's also the 5 boroughs, which are also 5 counties. Okay, so it has a separate government, separate taxes. There's New York City Department of Corrections, then there's the state of New York. Then you have other places that have, like, the city of Albany, which is the capital of New York. And you have other cities, other towns and villages that may not necessarily. This is why on your taxes in New York State, they ask you specifically if you live in Yonkers or White Plains. Those are also separate jurisdictions, even though they are in Westchester, even though they are strategically placed in a specific so-called municipality, right? So now New York City process, what you have to do, doesn't matter which borough you were born in. If you were born in any of the 5 boroughs of New York City, you have to go to the the vital statistics, New York City vital statistics, and you ask for the authenticated copy. Your authenticated copy is where the city clerk, and it comes with a letter of exemplification. So it's completely different than many of the other states. Listen very carefully to anybody born in New York City. The letter of exemplification basically says that it authorizes this particular clerk, indicating that this clerk is an actual and true notary and able to do so. So now, after you have that done, then you will take it to the county of New York County, right? And then, which is going to be on Worth Street. Really weird. When you see those streets, Water, Worth Street, you start seeing the notice in the Admiral Maritime. You start seeing where the birth, what they mean, the birth with the doctor and all that other stuff. I'm not going to get into that maritime stuff. That's the stuff that, you know, people studied years ago, but they tend to forget. You get what I'm saying? Worth Street, you know, just got to look at the street names, and it's a very telling story where the vital statistics and mental hygiene is. So after you are done doing that, then you get it done at New York City County. The county court clerk will also put another layer on top of it. That's all they're doing. They're putting another layer on top of it. And then once you take it to New York State, which in New York City, you don't have to go far, the Secretary of State, they will put another layer on top of it and notify you that you have to have that exemplification letter from the first process. And then the second process, they put that second layer on it. Then the New York State Secretary of State puts that layer on it, and you can either mail it off to Office of Authentications in Washington, D.C., or if you know, like I did, you personally take it down there, but you have to stay there 2-3 days. You don't get it that day. So if you go on a Monday, you can't expect to pick it up until Wednesday or Thursday, something like that. But other states may be a little different. I don't know how Oklahoma works, because Oklahoma is also a federal jurisdiction, similar to Washington, D.C., but a little more intricate. So I have been back to, yes, I have been back to open it up so it can breathe a little bit. Give it some air. Oklahoma, yeah. So Oklahoma, I have went back to Oklahoma in that area of study because there's some really fascinating things. I told y'all where it says some really slick stuff about them controlling the military, weird things. Also that, well, you know, like when the land, when they have to leave the land, that they'll have to give it back to its rightful people. It's really weird. It's really weird. I don't want to misquote it or anything. I'm just telling y'all, make sure y'all read the Oklahoma Constitution. But the authentication process, I have not used it to try and cash out on any fucking Social Security, whatever that money is, the SSKV account, none of that extravagant shit. But I do know that since I've had it, there has been a lot less shit that I've had to deal with. Let's just say that. I ain't gonna get too much farther into it, but you definitely want to check it out. It's not gonna hurt you. So if you are from one other state and you are going into another state, you definitely might want to do that. Now, you know, there's 2 states that don't have extradition, and I believe that's Texas, and that's also going to be Florida. Definitely Florida, and there's no judgment. The judgment for credit is 2 years in Florida. So sometimes you want to factor these things in. If some financial crisis happens, how long is your credit? Would your credit be damaged? 2 years, you know, that means you can fuck up a Ferrari, crash it, and your credit's renewed back in 2 years again. I don't know how people want to deal with it, but those are some of the things that should help you make your decision. But what do the laws about Florida say? How do they do our people in Florida? What are the laws? You definitely want to make sure you are aware of what the Constitution and law of the land is before you pick up and go somewhere else and leave your country of birth. The state that you were born in, that is technically your country. There are 50, how many states are there in the United States? 50? There's 50 countries in the United States. How many countries in North America? There's 96. You have 50 here. You have whatever's in Mexico. Those are all different countries in Mexico. It's just one landmass. Mexico is not the country. All of those states are different countries within that particular landmass. And then there's Canada. Canada has about, altogether in total, it's 96. I know we have 50, and the rest are getting divided between Mexico and Canada. So total in North America, 96 countries. I know it seems weird. Same thing with Africa. There's over 52 different nations over there, 52 countries. 52 states. It's just a continent, but there's 52 states over there. So definitely want to check out some of those things. But think about the authentication. You can't get around it for people that are having babies, unless you have your baby in the backwoods. You can't even have a midwife or a doula without them reporting. So you are not going to have an easy time avoiding the birth certificate or that process. The men in black do come for you. They want to get you mental evaluations. They have all sorts of things in store for the willful combatants that refuse to comply with those particular things. One thing for sure, two things for certain. You definitely want to make sure that they have the race of the mother and the child correct going forward. You can't fight every demon. So when these people are telling you that they don't have this and they don't have that, they are full of shit. You got to have a lot of money to be on the run. I know that. Anybody from the streets know that. You don't want the men in black to come look for you, then figure out what you're going to do. You're going to stay totally off the radar. That means no prenatal care, because the minute that they take your urine sample and give you the positive pregnancy test, if you don't show up in X amount of time, somebody coming to G-check you. That's it, and that's all. They're coming to G-check you. So in Texas, the judgment, they can't put a judgment against you, or they can have a judgment, but they can't garnish. There's no garnishment in Texas. So you can owe $100,000 and they might not, there's nothing they can do. They can't really technically make you pay. Same thing why OJ, even though he won the criminal case, civically, he was sued in civil court, but he had everything moved to Florida. So there was no garnishment. Statute of limitations for even bad credit card debt is 2 years in Florida. I think it's like 3 or 4 years in North Carolina. But then you have somewhere like Rhode Island where it's 10 years, or a place like Montana where it's 20 years. So if you fuck up when you're 18, that shit follows you all the way until you're 38. So how do you think those people in Montana are living? They're probably relying off each other. And I think those are the particular places that we may start being interested in going to, because those are the least likely places that they expect us to be. Wyoming, North and South Dakota, Wyoming, Montana, places like that. They're not Iowa. They're not really looking for us to be there. They're probably healthier places for us to be. The air is probably fresher, less contaminated. It's probably least crowded of places and stuff like that. Very easy to get land. You got to start thinking of things like that. Everybody want to go, well, I don't know anybody in Florida. Oh, man, ain't no bunk beds in the goddamn casket. Motherfuckers leave you alone here in the world. So you being able to pick up and move somewhere to make your life better doesn't require a whole bunch of company. You know what I'm saying? So, but other than that, I am not going to hold you too long. It was wonderful that there's a lot of y'all in the building tonight. What's going on, beautiful ones? A lot of them. Hey, William Ivory. What's up, Miss Sandy Red? Hi, Joe 47. What's up, Born Free? It's a bunch of y'all beauties out here. What's up, Copper Girl Asia? $67, 12 for shipping. Right, and they send it to you UPS. They send it UPS or FedEx. So it does come really quickly. Sometimes if you feel like there's a delay, you might want to check your email, because Vital Statistics says that something is missed. So for instance, if you put in your parents' wrong initial, it'll flag it and you won't get it, and you'll be like, hey, I ordered it and it didn't come. But then when you call them, and LexisNexis handles that now with the Vital Statistics. So if you call them, and they'll ask you, tell you what it is that you did wrong, or something else that doesn't match up with the records that they have. Sometimes at this point, you learn stuff about your folks that you didn't know. You might have thought your dad's middle name was Melvin, and it ended up that it was Marvin, and they're like, no, you got the name wrong. And you're like, what? Like, no. So, but that would be the reason for the delay in them not sending it. So, but I ain't gonna hold y'all too long. I thank y'all for stepping out with me. Thank you so much for all the the money that you guys sent and donated. I think that's so dope. Y'all always hanging out with me, and I do appreciate that. Shout out to Tomahawk Tony, Brother Lorenzo, Uwetsi, my sister Wayne, Liz Robinson, all my moderators, Cherokee Tolu. I appreciate y'all. It's always good to see y'all. So make sure that y'all not buying no wooden nickels and shit. Because some of these niggas is too much candy for $1. And they ain't got none of the shit that they talking about together, especially when it comes down to these oppressors. You definitely don't want to be put on none of these lists that they got. They placing these niggas on these lists. You got to find out who you're dealing with, because a lot of these dudes are connected to hemophiliac. People are allowing this motherfucking cook to sleep on their couch, and they sitting there smiling up in your goddamn face, and you don't even know what's going on. Y'all got to be careful. We want to make sure that you know, y'all not buying no wooden nickels, and definitely don't come from out of one, you know, oppressive situation and feel like getting back to grandma over here in Indian country is going to end up being in a situation that oppresses you too. It shouldn't be that complicated. It shouldn't be, you know, I know it's something new and different with people trying different things, but if you don't try different things, then, you know, and keep getting them same old black man results. And if that shit bothers you, then being an Indian should be a lot easier. It should be a lot easier to study and do your due diligence than it is to get your ass kicked for not knowing what the fuck you're supposed to do with yourself, or not even having a place to call home. That's very important. And they look at that, and that's also a reason indicative to why they just feel like they can do whatever it is they want. Plus, these motherfuckers don't let these people feel like this some big old melting pot for real, and that you don't have a say here in your own land. I always tell y'all that can't be the case. If you don't know that you home, these other motherfuckers gonna take your cornbread. That's it, and that's all. Well, peace a lot, she care.